For years, the UK's lifetime ISA has been pitched as this amazing ticket to your first home or a cushy retirement. But with some big new rules on the horizon for 2026, that whole dream could be in serious trouble. Today, we're going to break down exactly what's changing and, more importantly, uncover the hidden tax traps that could literally cost you your own hard-earned money.
Now, to make sure we get this right, all the insights in this discussion have been developed by the experts over at My Tax Accountant. They've been all over this, tracking every little update to bring some real clarity to what's, let's be honest, a pretty confusing topic.
So let's just cut to the chase and ask the big question right up front. If you've been doing the right thing, saving diligently into your lifetime ISA, is your plan to buy a home or save for retirement now at risk? Well, the answer isn't a simple yes or no, and the details here are absolutely crucial. So stay with me, because what's coming up next is something every LISA saver needs to hear.
Okay, first things first. Before we dive into the massive shakeup, let's just do a quick recap of the LISA itself. We'll cover what it is and how it's supposed to work, just to make sure we're all on the same page.
So, the Lifetime ISA, or LISA, was launched way back in 2017, and the idea was pretty simple really. It was meant to give people between the ages of 18 and 39 a tax-free boost to either build up a deposit for their first home or to put money aside for retirement, which you can access from age 60.
But what was the big hook? Why did so many people jump on board? Well, it all comes down to this number, 25%. That's the generous, tax-free bonus the government adds to your savings. For every pound you save, you get an extra 25p. It sounds like an unbeatable deal, but as we're about to find out, this generosity comes with a really nasty sting in the tail.
Let's look at how the numbers actually work. You can put away up to £4,000 every single tax year. If you manage to save that full amount, the government chips in a cool £1,000 on top. So your $4,000 magically becomes $5,000. On the surface, it looks like one of the best savings deals out there, right?
Okay, so that's the LISA that we all know and, well, that we know. But now there's a massive shakeup coming. Let's get into what the government has actually announced is going to happen in 2026.
And here it is, the bombshell announcement that's causing all this chaos. The government is planning to scrap the lifetime ISA as we know it. This news, which was quietly slipped into the latest budget announcements in November 2025, has left over 1 million savers completely in the dark, wondering what on earth is going to happen to their money. You can see its short and pretty turbulent journey right here. It was launched in 2017, and then, in late 2025, its end was announced. Now, a consultation on a new replacement product is scheduled for early 2026, but here's the absolute kicker. It's expected to be for first-time buyers only. This is a huge blow for anyone else, especially self-employed people who've been relying on this as a flexible retirement pot. Now we need to get into the really critical details. This whole plan to scrap the LISA is shining a very harsh light on some serious problems that were already there. And understanding these hidden traps is so important because they can cost you real money. So let's start with the most painful and honestly the most misunderstood part of the LISA. Everyone's heard of the 25% withdrawal penalty, the one you get hit with if you take money out for any reason that isn't buying your first home, retirement, or because of a terminal illness. But what is that 25% really charged on? The answer might actually shock you.
Let's walk through this, because the maths here is just brutal. Okay, so you save the maximum, £4,000. The government adds its £1,000 bonus. Your total pot is now £5,000. Great. But then, life happens. You have an emergency and you need that cash. Well, the 25% penalty isn't charged on just your contribution or just the bonus. No, it's charged on the entire £5,000 pot. A quarter of £5,000 is £1,250, which means you only get back £3,750. And there it is, the grim reality. You don't just lose the government's £1,000 bonus, you actually lose £250 of your own original savings. Think about that. You are financially punished for having to access your own money. But that's not all. Here's where the trap gets even worse. So here's a pro tip from the tax experts. When you do the maths, that £250 loss on your original £4,000, well, it works out to be a 6.25% charge. So the government isn't just taking its bonus back, it's actually charging you for the privilege of accessing your own money.
And the penalty isn't the only trap lurking here. The property price cap is another massive issue. You can only use your LISA to buy a property that's worth up to £450,000. That figure hasn't moved a single penny since 2017. while house prices, as we all know, have just rocketed, pushing thousands of savers into an impossible corner.
So with all these flaws and this plan to scrap the scheme, who is actually getting hit the hardest? Because this isn't just theory, it's creating real, everyday problems for a lot of different people.
And look, this quote from a saver on Reddit just says it all. This person did everything they were supposed to do. They saved hard. But the housing market completely outpaced the lease's rigid rules. And now they're trapped. They either have to buy a house so far away from work it's not practical, or they have to withdraw their savings and get hit with that massive penalty. It's a lose-lose situation.
And they are definitely not alone. The list of people facing this uncertainty is long. You've got first-time buyers in London and the Southeast, where that $450K cap is just becoming a joke. Then you've got the self-employed, who saw the LISA as their pension. And frankly, it affects anyone whose dream home is now tipped over that cap, or anyone who might just have an emergency and need to get to their own savings.
Even the industry experts are sounding the alarm. Carol Knight, the CEO of the Investing and Saving Alliance, pointed out that for all its problems, the LISA did play this valuable dual role, especially for self-employed savers who don't have company pensions. For them, it was a lifeline. Getting rid of it without a proper replacement for retirement savers is a really serious risk.
Okay, that was a lot, I know. We've laid out the problems, the uncertainty, the traps. So the million-pound question is, what should you actually do now? Let's talk about some practical next steps.
With all the headlines and the confusion swirling around, it's so tempting to just panic and do something drastic. But what is the smart, sensible thing to do with your LISA savings at this very moment?
Here is a simple 4-point action plan. Number 1, don't panic. Seriously, nothing is changing with your account overnight. The government bonus is still being paid for now. Number 2, review your goals. Have an honest chat with yourself. Is buying a home under £450,000 still realistic for you? Has your timeline shifted? Number 3, wait for the consultation details in early 2026. That's when we'll find out what the new scheme looks like and what will happen to existing LISA holders. And finally, number 4, and this is the most important one, get professional advice. This is not a one-size-fits-all situation. Your personal circumstances are what matter most. And speaking of advice, I have to make this really clear. The information we've talked about today is for general guidance. It's to get you up to speed, but it should not be the only thing you rely on to make big financial decisions. This is a complex and changing situation. The single biggest takeaway here is that your financial future is unique, and it deserves a plan that's made just for you. To really get to grips with how these LISA changes could affect your specific plans, you've got to get personalized advice from an expert who knows this stuff inside out.
For exactly that kind of professional, tailored guidance on the LISA situation or any other tax issues you're facing, the experts at My Tax Accountant are there to help you build a clear path forward. You can give them a call on 0208-570-8531 or drop them an email at info@mytaxaccountant.co.uk. Thanks for sticking with us for this really important update.